How's it going, Star Wars fans? We are about to start the playoff rounds of the P-Endor Retro League Event 3. We have a three-way tie for undefeated 6-0. We have Paul Todd Feldman, Dr. Torch in first, and Jeff Bauman, Red 5 in second, and Timo Dussel or Dillen in third. So this is the first game of the playoff series. It's going to be one game played between second and third, which is happening right now, which is so Jeff versus Timo. And the winner of that will go ahead and face Paul, Dr. Torch, to see who wins the P-Endor Retro League event number 3. And we're just about to kick off here versus Timo and Jeff. Jeff gets to pick the side. We don't know what it is yet. I might have to switch it up. I just wrote something down here. I don't know which side he's going to pick, so I might have to switch this on the fly here. Let's see, top text. So I don't know which side. Okay. We're just waiting to see. Jeff, I think, is the one, again, picking the side, so we'll wait to see when he puts up the table. And so, again, this format, P-Endor, it is the last format before Premier to Death Star 2, and it looks like I was correct. Jeff is actually going to be playing light side. Is that right? Yeah, light side, so Dylan plays dark side. There we go. And here we go. All right, so Jeff, second place versus Dylan. In third place, playing to see who gets to play Paul for the championship. Now, Dylan or Timo and Paul have already won an event, so the uncut sheet is automatically going to go to Jeff anyways. So let's see here. So we got Dylan playing Rops, Red 5 playing Throne Room, a somewhat classic matchup. Even into the next format as well. We see a lot of Throne Room in P-Endor. We likely see it also in Premier to Death Star 2, which is the next format. Same thing with Raltier Operations, both of which are very strong decks. I believe, at least in my opinion, that Throne Room does happen to have the edge in this matchup, mainly because they have so much activation at the start. You see already that Jeff here has 5 activation and Timo has 4. However, Jeff's going to start deploying these nudges, canceling his own icons and taking away the activation from Dylan. Now, even though Raltier does have a +2 deploy, making things very expensive to go to Raltier, Rebels specifically, the activation that Throne Room generally gets is enough to overcome that, and they can actually come down to Raltier quickly and prevent the flip and make it very hard to flip. So we already see here activation of 7 to 3. Timo will probably deploy a docking bay from Imperial Rust Order and then a sight to Raltier, boosting his activation by at least 2. But the next turn, Jeff will deploy another nudge and take away one more of those icons. So and it'll be a 7 to 4 activation. And then depending if either of them deploy any other additional sites they might have drawn in hand. ROPS in this format might deploy several 2-0 sites, Twix sites, maybe to boost their activation because they don't have mobilization points. In the next format, mobilization points really helps them boost their activation. But here they're kind of at the mercy of pulling their sites from Raltier and from a rest order. And we do see actually that he does pull one of the cards in hand, one of his sites in hand, which is the prefix office. There's 2 ways you can go in terms of the locations for Raltier generally. One of them is something like the swamp, the jungle, the forest, which is, you have, I think the swamp, is it the swamp? No, the jungle gives you -1 force drain for your opponent, so your opponent doesn't really, it's not that much of an incentive to go down there, or if you go down there, you're not going to be draining. And then, of course, the swamp is, makes it expensive to battle here, +3, no reacts. Now, on the other side, the prefix, the spaceport street, office, etc., the street allows you to bounce around for free on your move phase. So you can do a lot of tricks with that. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. So we see a nudge now coming down, an additional nudge. 2 nudges, oh no, coming down against Dillen. So Throne Room generally also plays a forced denial, right? They're going to take away icons from, or they're not going to give opponent many icons, and they're just going to come down on their opponent's locations. And in this case, he's going heavy in the denial, in which he's going to actually steal all the icons from his opponent as well, not just the ones from the swamp and the forest. And so this has a 2-pronged effect. Number 1, notice the activation discrepancy is huge. Jeff has 14 cards in hand and activating 6 more than Dillen. But also Dillen can't come down to these locations now. He has to deploy another location and move over. He might have been trying to maybe deploy or flip on this turn or the following turn, but now that's impossible unless I think it's impossible unless he has a location in hand and 3 like those stormtrooper cadets. That's the only way he could flip this turn. Or I guess he could deploy 1 site from Raltier, 1 from here. No, he can't even move. Well, he could move over with the street, so I guess it's possible but unlikely that he flips this turn. You see him pull Monarch. He's likely going to Monarch him used here. Punish Jeff for drawing over 12. So, pretty strong start from Jeff here. Having an opening hand, or 2 opening hand nudges to steal activation from Dillen and prevent him from being able to deploy to his own locations, which is a big deal. So let's see. Now, of course, if you don't know Raltier, the 7 side is extremely strong. There's a global force drain -1 across the board when you're flipped. At Raltier locations, every rebel still deploy +2. And adds X to your total battle destiny, where X is the number of Raltier locations Imperials occupy. So it turns your battle destinies really big. And on top of that, during your control phase, you use 2 force to pull any card from your deck. So very strong. And he comes down with Bad Feeling Have I, which is going to make everything deploy +2. Well, mains deploy +2, so it's going to be very expensive to come down to Raltier. +4 for any mains. Of course, you can still deploy elsewhere, with again mains still being +2. Let's see if what's going to happen here. So, now Revolution. So, furthering the force denial, Throne Room does tend to play Revolutions as well. We don't always see the nudges. We do see heavy Revolutions from time to time, but heavy Revolutions are twofold effect. One, it steals force again from your opponent, but you can also use it to come down on a lone character at a docking bay that you might think is safe. In this case, we're seeing it for force denial. And another thing that can happen in this particular situation, by flipping Raltier, if Jeff happens to have a ship and just parks it at Raltier, it could be very difficult then for Dillen to flip, because he has to no rebels can deploy or can control locations, so opponent controls no locations. So he has to somehow make it so Jeff is not controlling Raltier, and with no other systems, it can be very difficult. So one way to do it, of course, is with the spaceport docking bay. You deploy on the docking bay and then take off, but now you open yourself up for potentially a beatdown in space. Now, that being said, Throne Room doesn't always run that heavy of a space. So do see the docking bay. So it is possible to flip this turn. He definitely can. It's hard because he's only got 3 force, but he could. He could come down at the docking bay and then move and move. So curious to see. I mean, 4 force is not a lot you can do with 4 force versus 11 too, because you got to think, okay, if I drop one guy, now he has 11 plus 1, 12 force to come down, and even with the global or the +2, so +4 force to deploy for mains on Raltier, you can still drop EPP Obi, chop up Bursk, and do a lot of damage. So he does leave one saved. Raltier does often play barriers and things like that. So when you do come down to Raltier, you get punished for it. So maybe Timo is saying, okay, I think you don't have anything, or maybe he does have the barrier. We'll see. So more Twix sites coming from Jeff. Going to boost his activation. Let's see what if Jeff's going to come down to Raltier and risk it, or if he's going to go somewhere else. One thing you can do, of course, is once you're set up like this, you have your activation, you find your cards, you can come back down to the farm or something, and then you just move the nudge over or kill it. That's one strategy we see sometimes as well. Okay, we see Obi or Ben Kenobi coming down to the hut. One thing you can do here is you can revolution your own hut, and then you start draining for 3, and then if you get a saber, +1, so 4. We see that sometimes, and he is playing Revolution, so that is an option here. So curious what Jeff's going to do here. So he's stacking up on Tatooine. So you got to believe that he has a way to get off Tatooine. Either he has some Tatooine locations like the Cantina, or he could Nabrins. However, Nabrins is kind of neutered by Imperial Arrest Order. So Nabrin leads can only be done in his move phase and to exterior sites. So he could Nabrin, but he's not going to be able to, as you could in the older formats, Nabrins over and beat down. Do tricks like that, which was very nasty in the older formats. Yeah, that's definitely a lot of nudges. We don't typically see this many nudges. Oh, okay. So, Dillen taking a risk here. Although he can move for free. So I gotta believe he's gonna... So it looks like Dillen attacks the nudge. I think he's gonna kill the nudge here. I think with no force saved, I think you gotta move these... You gotta consolidate, and you can. You can consolidate everybody onto the Spaceport Street. It looks like the nudge is defeated, so he gets his icons back. I gotta believe you move both guys to the street. Leaving Bursk out now, I think, is a risk. Even though Jeff has already committed his 2 strongest characters. Okay, it looks like he's at least moving Mara. I think he's gonna move Bursk. If not, then... Oh, he's not. Okay. Oh, that's a little bit risky, leaving no force saved. I mean, he could drop, the aliens like Milos. Leia is still a possibility. Again, he's not going to be able to Nabrins into a big beatdown with Ben and Luke. But he could Nabrins over to the Spaceport Street, make it a little more harder to flip. Although I think, as Dillen, you still can flip. Really, that's surprising. I don't know that I would have done that. I think I would put Oromarco here. It's a free... He's got nothing. I mean, maybe he's got a Gick, but then he loses the Gick. And that's likely his only Gick, right? I think I go Oromarco to the docking bay, beat this guy down. Okay, Gimmerstick. Okay, so his Gimmerstick tricks probably with order to engage. Still, I would have done Oromarco to the docking bay, and then if you're gonna Nabrins over, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to risk not being able to play the Nabrins. So we'll see if he does Nabrins leads on right now. But I think even if he Nabrins over, I think he can still flip this turn. Dillen can. Right, because let's say he comes to this office with all his guys, Dillen deploys his 4th site, drops a guy down on the 4th site, drops a guy down in front of the office, flips, and now Jeff's in trouble because he's blown his load essentially by deploying all those guys here. And yeah, okay, there's the Nabrins, probably to the docking bay. This is risky. I think this is very risky because now Jeff doesn't have to worry, or Dillen doesn't have to worry about getting barriered in front of his guys. I think he deploys a guy, deploys a site, deploys a guy, and flips. And then moves, consolidates, and okay, now he cannot flip unless he kills Ben, which okay. Okay, so Jeff taking the line that he doesn't have Vader in hand. Vader's, I think, the only guy left who would be able to to battle Oromarco with the Gimmer stick. So he's saying, okay, you're probably not going to battle here at the Spaceport Street. You can't battle me here at the docking bay. You don't really have a lot of force. Vader can't come down. So, okay. Let's see, there's no way he battles here. Yeah, I think he just moves away. So we see Dillen attacks the nudge. Trying to get his icons back. Let's see. He's likely going to kill the nudge. I don't think he attacks here. Another revolution. So Jeff definitely leaning heavy on the force denial. Let's see. I think you just move away, would be my guess. Yeah, move in front of Oromarco. Maybe you move Bursk over and save some force. Okay, he just draws up. So Jeff going to be able to drain for 1. Dillen just draws up. Doesn't save anything for a barrier. Now I think Jeff can battle here now because we have Mara Jade. So he loses barrier from reserve deck. Okay, order to engage. So this is a nice combo with Yoda's Gimmer Stick. A lot of times the opponent in certain decks won't have enough characters to be able to battle when you have Gimmer Stick out. So Rops, for example, may only have Mara Jade and, say, Vader. And once those two are either committed to the table or you don't have enough force, like Dillen doesn't have enough, might not have enough force to battle unless he drops Battle Order, then you can't battle in front of Gimmer Stick. And then with Order to Engage, you end up losing 3 force. So you just keep following your guys, the opponent's guys with Gimmer Stick, and triggering Order to Engage. And it also blocks a drain, so very nasty combo if you don't have an answer for this. So I think it's getting very difficult for Dillen to flip now that Jeff's on 2 sites. Now we see Jeff consolidates on the 1 site. Now if he has a bunch of cheap guys, Dillen can flip this turn. We'll see what he does. Of course, again, 6 force is not a lot to work with, but again, this Spaceport Street is really you can do a lot of tricks with it. Move for free is very relevant. We'll see what he has. But he does have... He might lose to order to engage if he doesn't battle. I gotta think you don't battle here because you don't have enough. You know, Luke with Saber will chop up Bursk. And then maybe you draw more than a 4. Oh, he's just gonna come battle, I guess. So with Troopers, that's weird that he deployed that afterwards. Maybe that was a mistake. Okay, so Troopers obviously can come down pretty cheaply, and they have this particular build of Rops plays Trooper Assault, which makes them all immune to attrition and much more powerful. So now this could, I think it's +2, so 1, 2, 3, is this guy Trooper? Yes. 4, so +8, so this would become 17 power plus Destiny. And then the only person not immune, I think, is Mara Jade, but she's immune to less than 3. So we might see a battle here. Of course, Ben can revive, which is somewhat annoying. Drops the shuttle, probably for forfeit. Yeah. Careful planning coming down from Jeff. Now he can start tracking that 5. He draws the 3. Another revolution. Okay, here comes one. I gotta think the Trooper Assault's coming. There's Trooper Assault. Does Jeff have a sense? I think you have to sense it here. Yep, there's the sense. I think you just eat the 3 force loss. 5. He would have wanted that 5. Although I gotta believe he's gonna hit this guy, because this guy satisfies all battle damage and attrition. I think that's the guy you want to swing at. Yeah. So Trooper Assault counter. Does he have a second one? He does have a second one. Wow. And no sense. Okay, so 21 over 14 and then plus Destiny. Let's see what happens here. So Dillen actually had a lot of stuff in his hand to help. He could have survived the counter beat had Jeff not had the sense. So we'll see what happens. Depending on battle destinies, Jeff might only lose Luke and then be able to revive him. So he's going to hit Fenson. Oh, I wouldn't hit... I don't know why you hit Fenson. You want to hit... I guess it doesn't matter. But... yeah, I guess because he's going to lose him anyways. Okay, hits Fenson. Clash and another revolution. So many revolutions in Jeff's deck here. Ouch. Gift to the Mentor, so 2 destinies. So this could be now swinging in Jeff's favor here, depending on what he draws. Now, Throne Room does run a lot of zeros, so it's possible that he... ouch, he draws the 6. I wonder if Timo tracked that all the way. I don't know if he shuffled or not. He might have been tracking that this whole time. So, yeah, the Gimmer Stick is at least going to go away. I believe he's probably going to lose or Marco and then get revived, but Gimmer Stick goes away. So 2, 3, nothing. I mean, he's going to lose 2 guys, right? Ouch, yeah, so with a lot of nudges and revolutions, and then of course the Twix sides, the Destiny in this deck is not that good, so he's probably going to lose, I think he just loses Luke, and then it gets revived, right? Yeah. So again, Ben Kenobi being a beast here, where even with a pretty good outcome in the battle for Dillen, nothing really got lost for Jeff. And Dillen Probably doesn't have another trooper assault in hand. Although he can just move away now. He can move all his guys except this. He can take off, I guess, which it looks like he might be doing. He's going to load everybody up and take off. And I guess prep for the next hand. So in spite of all the force denial, Dillen has been able to somewhat come back with at least 8 force. And now he's just stacking hard on Raltier. At least going to be draining for 1. And then maybe he saves up some, draws up again, and comes down when he's ready. And this is only a drain of 1 for Jeff. And, you know, just looking at life and force count, so 38 to, was that 21? 40. So pretty even. Both draining for 1. But 8 forces, you know, you saw what Dillen was able to do with not a lot of force. These biker scouts are pretty cheap. Ah, okay, Falcon coming. Falcon coming. Let's see if we see Leia for a Super Falcon, although Leia's going to cost, what is it, 6? 7? I always forget. I think she's deploy 4. Well, 5. Maybe 5. If it's 5, he can't battle. I wonder if, I don't think he battles here. He does battle, okay. Projective telepathy. Make him use 2 more force. It seems like a little bit of a risky battle. He's got a lot of forfeit here. And if he drops, say, Zuckuss next turn in battles, then it could be bad. Ah, Beggar. Ooh, that's nasty. So that's a good card to keep in mind. We do have a Tatooine site. And Beggar with all the force denial is nasty. So let's see what he draws. If he draws, so 4, okay. He's probably just going to let that go. Because he's immune to attrition, less than 5. I think you don't let it cause the redraw. So he's just going to lose one of his guys, maybe like Wallen or something. All these guys, all these unique Imperials, little weenie Imperials are forfeit plus 2 from Imperial Restorers, so they're all like forfeit plus 5 for super cheap, very efficient. Okay, yeah, he lands. I think he got to land there. So let's see what Dillen can do here. You know, we still have not a lot of force available for Dillen. Doesn't have too many cards in hand. But it's still pretty even here. Jeff committed 3 cards to the board, which I think tied up the life force counts. Jeff draining for 1. But you know, you can do some things with 7 force. Again, especially as these troopers are so cheap. This guy deployed for free. Biker Scout deploys for 1. So I still think, you know, the flip is possible. He's just going to draw. He didn't disembark Han. Yeah, I think I don't remember if he adds a destiny here or not. I don't think he does. Right? Well, he's a pilot of Falcon, so yeah, I think this adds a destiny. We got some cheering for Red 5 here. You can knock out Dillen. QTC02. Yeah, it says pilot of Millennium Falcon, so when piloting Falcon, now this I think is considered unpiloted. I thought. Ah, tactical support. I think he can flip now. Maybe. got no force saved. He totally could flip this turn if he moves in a certain way. Okay, he's got 3 troopers. Deploy for 1, deploy for 2, deploy for 2. We could see a flip this turn potentially. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, 10 EMF. I think it adds a destiny. So see a drain of 1. Tarkin's orders. Oh no. Tarkin's orders, canceling a drain at a site related to a system you control. So in this exact situation, it's a great card. It also cancels a lot of annoying other cards. Surprise Assault. It could be worse. Neighboring Leads, Collision, Hyperscape. And the non-unique Starfighter's not that relevant. But yeah, pretty good card in this format, in this case. So Leia coming down for 9 force, so it is 4. So we might see the Falcon coming up to Raltier now. Lightsaber proficiency on Luke. I don't know if that's a little, well, it's probably okay, but you know, Luke is so possible, like when you battle into this, if you move away the Falcon, Luke's going to be the guy you're going to want to forfeit, and so it's very possible you end up losing lightsaber proficiency. You don't really want to forfeit Oromarco. Alright, so now we have Falcon. Super Falcon, that is. Pilot. So, formidable force here. Let's see what Dillen does. Does he go for a flip? Does he go for a big battle? Jeff has pretty much his forces built up here. Presence of the Force coming down at the hut. So we might see a stack of troopers coming down here, in which case this is now going to be a drain of 4. That is very, very bad for Jeff if he doesn't have an answer to this. That's exactly what's happening. So all those guys who he just deployed coming down for cheap might honestly just see either him land and move them away, or you know what? I think he can land, move away Mara, land, and then there can't be a battle here. And again, Imperial Restorer is out, so we know that he can't Nabrins over here for some crazy beatdown. So this is drain of 4 now. And drain of 0, drain of 2 with lightsaber proficiency. Let's see what... I don't think you battle here. I think you can land and you can move everyone away and he can't battle, right? Yep, he just eats from order to engage. I think you have to. Because this is 3 battle destiny. I don't think you want to battle into that. Even though we know his battle destiny is probably not that good. He lands at the street and he can move over here if he wants to. You know, maybe you disembark these guys and move Mara over here. Because he's got most... I mean, we saw Milos. All the mains are on the table. So it's very possible Jeff is mostly out of guys. Yeah, I think you just stay right here. And now you're draining for 6 to 1. Now, of course, order to engage is relevant. But damage race right now is in Dillen's favor. Dillen asking for a revert. Perhaps he forgot to move someone. Jeff very graciously accepts the revert. Oh, I guess he didn't want to do that. Interesting. I guess he might have noticed order to engage because all Jeff needs to do is land, move everyone over. That might be what he was doing. But again, with the street, you can like start dodging around faster, dodge away from the order to engage. You might only be getting hit by it every other turn. So we got a drain of 2. Projective telepathy. I mean, Jeff has so much force, but just in case, why not? Make him use 2 force. So 28 to 10, 34. Let's see if he has the answer. Now, Jeff, of course, could just neighborins back to the hut and trigger order to engage that way. And if Dillen does not have the trooper assault, it might be... he might just start taking from order to engage, or just end up getting beat down. Of course, he has tactical support, so he can maybe dig up some more guys and deploy them for cheap. Jeff playing tunnel vision. Let's see what he searches up. Yeah, I wonder here. It's possible that Dillen never ends up flipping this game. Very possible. He doesn't have that much force to do any tricks to, at least in this situation, it would be very expensive to do something like that. Yeah, very good chess game from both of these players. Let's see, Wampa Cave. I missed when that was deployed. I don't know. Vader getting lost from Dillen. A lot of times, Raltier will run one EPP Vader, maybe also one Choke Vader. Very potent at, say, the Forest. EPP Vader is, Vader with Saber for 6. And then at the Forest is immune to attrition. But when you're flipped and you're getting plus to your battle destiny, it can also be very... Vader with Saber can wipe out a location. Like, let's say you drop Vader with Saber, chop up Ben Kenobi, and then you draw an 8 for battle destiny. Or let's say a 4 that gets +4, and he clears the site by himself. So very powerful card in this deck. KFC coming down. That's interesting. KFC, of course, being awesome if you're able to track. And then you can essentially reduce all your opponent's battle destinies to 0 if yours are high, if you only draw 1. If you each only draw 1 and yours are higher. Yours is higher, I should say. I think you move over here. I think you want to trigger order to engage. You either move over or you move in front of here. Trigger order to engage here. And then, of course, that again gives Dillen a chance to flip. So maybe you move over here in front of the street. Okay, here's the neighborins going to the hut. That's probably the better play. Oh, no, okay, so he knows where 5 is now. So the 4th card is a 5. That's definitely something at this point, he wants to start tracking. And then he can draw his neighborins again. Once he kills the guys over there. Oh, so he only does 2 of them. That's a little surprising. That's a little surprising. Because if Jeff draws a 5, Ben's dead. Of course, he can't battle here, I guess. I wonder if it'd be better just to move over Marco. We've seen Vader with Saber lost. Potentially he doesn't have another. Maybe he has another, we don't know. But this, I don't know. In order to engage with the Gimmer stick, it's very possible he doesn't have anything to deploy here. So we'll see if he ends up battling. Because if he has anyone he can deploy with ability greater than 3, and he knows his destiny, which I'm not sure if he does or not. Ben could die here. But we'll see what happens. Tempest Scout. Wraithall, okay. So this, if all your troopers are Destiny +1 or +2 if you control, tactical support is used. Triggers order to engage. This card a lot of times is used to play numbers because now your troopers, which are already pretty good Destiny, of 2s and 3s become 4s and 5s, and now you can just play numbers. Oh no! So he had another guy with ability over 3, which is Java, which he lost off the top. So this might just be a standoff, and he just gets pinged with order to engage. But this looks a little scary now. He knew where a 6 was at one point, and a 6 kills Luke. So Dillen drawing up. Now he's got 10-4, so Dillen could do something next turn. That being said, he is running low on cards as well. And he's not doing that much damage. We see the react. So taking the opportunity for a free react. Is that right? Yep. Now what's a little scary though is if he leaves the ship. I think you can only carry 2. So he's going to at least have 1. Cancels the react. I don't know about that. I guess. Okay, so he draws the 5 for Destiny. Now we know that this 4th card is a 5. So he had a 5/5 on top. I don't think he knew about the first 5. So he loses the grappling hook, loses the sense, of course. So very expensive cancers to the react. Going to drain for 2. Of course, with so many cards and so little cards left, you really want to start pushing the damage. Imperial Decree getting lost from Dillen. And Enfield. I think if you had like Milos, then you let the react through, because then you can come down. You potentially knew that this one was a 5, the 4th card, which at least clears Wallen. Another revolution. So really going strong on the forced denial, just continuing to do so. A lot of nudges, a lot of revolutions. Here comes Beggar. So we might see a beatdown coming here. Well, I don't see where you would want to do a beatdown. Plays Masterful Move to not give him a free force. Gets grappling hook, so another grappling hook. So that's I like that grappling hook because otherwise Timo knows where 6 is next turn. Verify. Obi with Saber. Now I think his neighborins is a couple. How many force did he use? 3. I think 2 or 3 cards down, and his force pile is his neighboring leads. If I'm doing my math. Oh no, he used 3 force and 3 force. I think he already used it. Okay, moving over to Rythal. Now this is a drain of 2. Now I think Dillen's in trouble here. Because he's threatening 1, 2, 3, 4 in drains and then order to engage. So Dillen might be in trouble here. I mean, he could drop, let's say, okay, he only activates 7, so presumably either knows what this is or needs the force, or needs the cards in reserve deck to draw Destiny. So drains for 1. So I'm anticipating a battle here. I gotta think he deploys a guy. Arrest order to verify. Checks his destinies. I'm assuming he has Trooper Assault. And remember, we know that the top card is a 5. And there's another Vader. Okay. So he does run the 2. He knows what his destinies are, so he knows, oh, Clash, oh no! Oh, that might be the game right there. I think you can still battle, but I don't think you want to. That might be the game. Oh, he's still going to battle. Okay, 2 Destiny. Well, he could still clear Obi here. And if he's got Trooper Assault, then these become, this is 11, 2 Battle Destiny. So if he draws over a 5, now we knew that was a 5. Now Jeff, though, of course, is going to know that there's a 5. Okay, 2 5s, wow. So what was that, 3 grappling hooks we saw? Okay. So 4. Okay, anything over 0 clears, or not, doesn't clear, but kills Obi. And a 3. Ooh, ability. That's nasty. So 7. So Obi's going to die. And he draws a 4. So he's going to lose one of his other guys. Potentially. Oh, well, but he has Sergeant Barrich. Sergeant Barrich, oh, didn't you use Sergeant Barrich? Oh, yeah, there we go. Very annoying card. Because now he's going to draw again and reduce by 1. So nothing spectacular. Okay, so Obi's dead here, but Jeff might have to be careful about the counterbeat here. Well, so Barrich, when a battle with the other Biker Scout, draw 1 Destiny subtract from opponent's attrition and power. So even though you might have drawn high, if he had drawn something, then he can reduce it down to 0, and so it ends up turning the battle completely. It can. So now Oromarco is alone, and he can battle Barrich. So I think Oromarco's going to battle into Barrich, which is scary for Dillen. He knows where the Red 5 knows where 5s are. So I think we're going to see a counterbeat here, drain for 4, and a counterbeat. And the counterbeat 2 plus 5, 7. So he's probably going to lose 2 cards here from overflow, plus the 2 from here. So he's going to lose probably 4 cards, I think. Plus the drain of 4. And we see the react. I think you have to. Drain a 2. Okay, so he reacts over, drains a 2. Is that the 5/5? No, that's 1/5. Yeah, he activated one of the 5s. So here's Milos. Draw their fire. You know, I might have deployed him here. And you'd battle twice if you're going to do that. I would have saved 1 more force, because you know where 2 5s are. Battle here, 4 damage. Battle here, and you kill at least Wallen. And you can still trigger orders to engage over here, because you're not going to battle with the shuttle. So Marco battles here. Milos battles here. And then I think you just move these guys. That's I think would have been maybe more force loss, I think. And you retrieve 2 instead of just 1. Because all you're doing here now is you're adding 2 power to the damage, whereas you could have gained that, you would have got that and more, I think. Of course, Vader comes down and does a counter, which is going to beat on Marco the next turn. There's the 5. Now, if we did our math right, the 6th card is the 5. Of course, when he activated that grappling hook and he used the force, the bottom now of his used pile is a 5 as well. And so he loses 4. Yeah, I think Jeff has this regardless. Yeah, he could have had 3 battles here if he had battled with Milos, because that 2 is extra force. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter, but. So yeah, just 1 game. So the winner of this game goes on to play Dr. Torch for the championship. And we see the 3 drawn. So 2 beggars in the deck. Interesting. Search and Destroy getting drawn for Battle Destiny of 3. So he's going to have to lose KFC probably. And he can just lose, I guess he has to lose Mara Jade. Oh, he did that incorrect. He didn't realize the attrition. He still has attrition. Yeah, he just GG's. So GG getting called. Congratulations to Jeff on advancing to the I guess finals against Dr. Torch. Very crazy deck, big force denial, a lot of tricks. And so Dillen goes on to 3rd place. Jeff goes on to 2nd place. Congratulations to both players for going 6-0 and playing this really fun match to watch. At some point, Dr. Torch and Red 5 will be playing, and hopefully we will be streaming that one as well in the next couple days or so. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys on GEMP.